Special time, new time. It's the questions, hip hop trivia, episode 105. How did they let it go this long? Didn't somebody think to step in and pull the plug at this point? This is a social experiment that has just gone on perhaps far too long, but I think it's bore some great fruit. It has been a success. I'm your host, Sean Cantrowitz, at Sean Dammit. And I am thrilled today to be welcoming two lovely gentlemen. If you are at all interested in what it is that we do here at The Questions, then Breaking Atoms podcast is probably already on your radar. But if not, this is a great introductory. This is a great way for you to get put onto some game here. They are hailing all the way from the UK, our first international guest, which just feels like a flex. They're not going to, for them, it's old hat. They almost exclusively interview international guests to them. This is our first international guest. I want to invite you to show your love, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram, get onto one of those other things that I mentioned. Make some noise and show your love for Breaking Atoms podcast. We're joined by Chris Mitchell and Sumit. How are you guys doing? Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, we are the first international guest. That is an honor in itself. Let's just start there.
Internationally known.
Wow.
You guys are internationally known. Yes.
Can I be international Hove then? Hovey's home. Can I do that then?
I mean, I'm not in a position to tell you no. So yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll do that.
It's done. You know, you get older in life, there's not a lot of firsts. So, we're glad to be the first on the questions, episode 105. I'm trying to think of something significant with that number, just to make it sound cool.
Don't worry, because I've got some things in the works as well. So we'll get into that. But shout out to everybody watching. I see, you guys are trickling in. This is a new time as well. So take your time, get in here. But we've got viewers watching on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole squad. We had a nice strong following on one platform, and we were like, no, you know what? Fuck it. Let's diversify it and weaken those numbers. But all right, listen, before we get into it, I want, for those who are watching who maybe aren't familiar, this is like the elevator pitch. I could do this, but I feel like you guys, who knows it better than the creators? Who is the Breaking Atoms hip hop podcast for? And how do you guys sort of differentiate yourselves in the landscape of hip hop media, which I sort of feel like we're in a renaissance right now. And you guys are definitely playing a huge part in it. So, for the uninitiated, tell them what the Breaking Atoms experience is all about.
Chris, I'll let you take that one.
Okay, cool. So, Breaking Atoms, we are two passionate hip hop heads who are all about the culture in its entirety. We travel the ecosystem of hip hop, and we connect the dots in hip hop stories and fill in the gaps where you may not know they were there. In terms of the people who we're trying to appeal to and who we speak to directly every week, it's passionate hip hop fans, young and old. We have listeners who I've just listened to Reasonable Doubt for the first time, and this series is great. Or you have someone who, was a fully grown man when Doe the Funky Homo Sapien came out and he's like, I like you guys. So, we cover a whole range of topics, even looking at the stats, youngest listeners are like 16, 18, going all the way up to the 50s and the 60s. But what we're passionate about is the culture, not just music, but society, the politics and everything that informs this culture of hip hop that we're so passionate about. And, we like to pride ourselves as being, somewhat historians and documentarians. We're very passionate about research and detail, getting things right and getting the right people in place, creating community that provides opportunities for everyone, because hip hop as a community is its best when it focuses on community.
Beautifully said.
I would like, that's why he's the actual factual, and that's why I'm the hip hop chronicle. I'm the documentator. He's a factual checker, and I think the ecosystem, but more than anything, we just care about this culture because we understand it, and we have history in music, whether it's in journalism or Chris is an MC. We have history in this. We're not newbies. We just, we're not new to this. We are true to this. even if you
Yes.
take it that route, right? The most important thing, the most important thing for us is to really document, and this culture, we've been allowed to flourish within it, allowed to be part of it, and we just want to contribute, and that's the main thing we want to do. We want to contribute to legacy. That's a big thing for us, is how we create a legacy. Yes, we could do interviews, we could do interviews every day with artists. That's okay. But how do we, the real USP is how do we get underneath the hood of things to give different perspectives? And from Capadonna right through to OC, right through to Skills, we speak to them about their career, the things that people want to know about, but we also get into under the hood of, social issues. Tracy Lee, for a good example, our recent episode with Tracy Lee was very much not even about music whatsoever. It was all about generational wealth, the social economical climate that we're in, and how it affects people from minority backgrounds, and what can we do to resolve that and actually make progress. So that's who we are. And much love to everyone out there, but this is what we do, is something, we have a different lens of things. We want to push the boundaries as much as we can, and through the medium of podcasting and audio, and ways in which we can just further and let it, and also open the doors for the next generation, because that's important to us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get into all of the different endeavors and the breakthroughs and the amazing things that you guys have contributed. But, this is just in the same way as you guys delve into other things. And it's not just about the interview. We're not just about the interview here at the Questions either. Maybe I've taken perhaps a lower road, not as quite a high one as politics and philosophy, but we are about the trivia here. We are about the minutia, similar to you guys. When we just, when we linked up in the first place, I feel like we both had this moment of discovery that we felt like, oh, we're on the same team. We're on the same, or opposite sides of the same coin, and so it was a lovely connection. And, I've been honored to be a guest on your show previously, and have, you guys somehow, I guess I tricked you enough that you invited me back for a second, collaboration as well. So this is the third, and you know what they say, folks, the third time's a charm. And so this is a Questions and Breaking Atoms collab. We're going to get into some trivia. So, are you guys ready to get into the weeds here?
Yes, let's.
I just want to point out, Sean, that if this was about the West Wing, it'd be no problem. Hip hop,
you're the eighth person by my estimation who requested a West Wing themed game, and I don't know if I'm sending a weird signal that people think that that's even an option. It's completely not. With all due respect, we're never going to do that. But duly noted, maybe a spin-off series. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Ash Cat, Tra Lamont, DJ Marquis in the house, Sally Haskell. We've got a bunch of shout out to the followers on Twitch who joined us today. Kind of Cool Greg, A Tribe Called Rocks. Kind of Cool Greg is in there again. Yeah, just tell your friends. Different time right now. Gather, assemble the troops. And if you're watching on Instagram, you're going to get a better experience on any of the either ones. No shots fired, but kind of shots fired at Instagram. So, gentlemen, what I want to let you guys know is that we sort of have always had two schools of thought when it comes to this game. Shout out to Crate 808 Hip Hop Podcast in the house as well. There are some guests who have been on the show who like to lean on the chat as a lifeline. I don't know if you guys see the chat right now on your screen. You do not. Okay. So what we will do is I will allow, if you choose, once per round, we will bring in a lifeline if you need it. Now, we've also had guests who say, you know what? Whether I burn out or I ascend to the top, it's going to be on my own merit. I'm not leaning on the chat. So just know that you have the option, and you don't have to make a declaration now. It's like, just throw it in your back pocket. It's there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool.
Awesome.
Here we go. We're getting into our first question in our first round, and the first round is called The Choice is Yours. This is our general multiple choice. Here we come now. Here we go. Question number 1. Which of these Kanye West albums does not feature an appearance by Jay-Z? Is it The College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy?
We can talk through it, Chris, if you want.
You can talk through it. Yeah.
I'm
So
pretty sure I know.
Graduation.
Graduation.
Graduation has Big Brother. My Dark Twisted Fantasy has Monster. College Dropout.
I think it's graduation. College Dropout. He was on.
Oh, Yes,
Big Brother is about Jay-Z.
Yes,
So
yes. Correct.
I'm gonna go with Graduation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So this was a fine example of teamwork here. And yeah, a little bit of a tricky one because there is a song on Graduation that is all about Jay-Z, Big Brother. But let's take a little trip here. In College Dropout, we had, of course,
First I snatched the streets.
Never Let Me Down.
Charts.
Then we had on the second album, Late Registration.
I got it from here, yeah, damn. The chain remains, the gang is intact.
And then, of course,
Everybody knows I'm a motherfucking monster. Conquer, stomp you, stop you, silly.
which means the answer is Graduation. Great job, boys.
It's your boy.
So listen, we got to get right into this. And obviously, this seems apropos for your most recent victory. Breaking Atoms, producers of an incredibly acclaimed and, successful on these podcast streets, a documentary series about Reasonable Doubt. You guys compiled interviews with journalists, with a lot of the collaborators who were involved in Jay-Z's, seminal first album. Tell me about that process. How long did it sort of take? Like, where did the seed start? Because you guys have done plenty of interviews, but this was sort of a new adventure for you. So give me like a timeline, like briefly, how you went from the idea to the execution.
Yeah, so in terms of actually doing the actual series, the whole 5-part, I would say it took 2 months to do from start to finish. The seeds of it were sown very, very long time ago because me and Chris always think about how, as I said earlier, about how we can elevate and how we can just try to do things differently. So that was an idea, and series and things like that is something that from a very, very long time ago. We've always had that in our plan. It's just about a progression of things. But in terms of the actual, from first interview to this is it, this is the last episode, it's done, 2 months. And that included all the interviews. We interviewed over, I think 33 people, 23 people all in all. We had about over 30 hours of audio. Yourself was included there, Sean. It was a really fun process, and it was a collaborative process. And I don't think the success of it's like Jay and Dame. One wouldn't have succeeded at the other. So we needed me and Chris. It wouldn't have succeeded with me, and it wouldn't have succeeded with Chris. It needed both of us. And what we learned is we learned a lot about the project. We listened to it in with new, fresh ears now. But the response has been incredible. I don't think either one of us thought it would have that. We thought it'd be good because we thought we have to be cocky, right? We have to be goats, right? But I think the response of it has been incredible, and there's still more to come on that. And I think that's what we're looking at, is how do we change the game more, and how do we reinvent things, and how do we just keep things fresh.
So, Chris, I want to know from you, what was the biggest discovery that you sort of had, or the revelation about Reasonable Doubt? That obviously you guys are connoisseurs, you know your way around these albums and the stories, but what was the nugget that just sort of like jaw on the floor, like, yo?
I think there's two things for me. It was some of the bonus tracks that Clark Kent mentioned, and the fact that these songs 25 years later still haven't been heard. The original version of Brooklyn's Finest, Tell Me How It Feels. But I think the one that blew my mind the most was when Pain in the Ass, shout out to Pain in the Ass, he said that Streets Is Watching from Volume 1 was recorded in the Reasonable Doubt sessions. That blew my mind, because I wasn't too keen on Volume 1, but I've always listened to Streets Is Watching this feels Reasonable Doubt-ish. So when Pain in the Ass mentioned that, I was like, yeah, that's actually crazy. Like, not only was Jay-Z ahead of his time, but we went back into the liner notes. We looked at, it's recorded by Joe Quindy at D&D. We're like, yeah, the hallmarks of Reasonable Doubt. So that was a big one for me, because it just made me appreciate that song, Volume 1 and Reasonable Doubt, kind of like a two-piece. It's like, Aki and Saltfish for all my West Indian people out there who get how two things can complement each other. So yeah, that's the biggest one for me.
Is Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z's best album?
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yes, indeed.
Both answers.
Yep. It's for me. It's Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, Black Album, American Gangster 444, and then we can go down the list. Magna Carta, Holy Grail's not my favorite whatsoever.
We've got a hot take here, folks.
It's not. No, it's. I've said this before. It's recycled motifs. When he said on Blueprint 3, "Want my old shit by my old albums," that's what Magna Carta Holy Grail was. It was recycled motifs. It was rushed. No, there's some good songs. It's Jay's and makes some great songs. He's greatest of all time. I love him to death. But that's the only album I don't have in my collection that is from Jay-Z. I have everything else.
I think Reasonable Doubt is his best album, just because for me, as a young 14-year-old walking through the streets of Northwest London for the first time in my life, I understood what happens. You listen to certain street tales and you're like, okay, drugs get sold, person gets shot, they go to jail. But he told me about the intricacies, like the intricacies and the nuances in the story. Just his flow, very conversational, even his voice. Back then you had a lot of, Nine and those type of people with the really gruff voices. He sounded like someone I knew.
Right.
And I felt like it was a really intimate conversation in the air. The vocabulary he used, to me, is high-level art. And I really aspired to that as an English student who had a knack for writing. I always said, if I could write something as good as this, that would be a great achievement, for me. And it also coincided with my, my teenage years. I'm 14, going on 15. And, I'm understanding the world in a different way. And, the layers to things. And it was a moment in time and a total revelation. And I've been listening to that album for 25 years.
Crazy.
Like it's nuts. When doing the series, me and Sumit realized that we can recite lines. Oh, he said this here, tracksuit, boom, boom, boom. It was like, you just realize just how much of that musical piece that's you soaked up into your DNA. Quite scary.
Yeah,
and technically on the album he was impeccable. Like we look at Marcy Me in like recent years, you think he's technically so good on that song. But
right.
that to wait from start to finish, technically as an MC and how he's writing in the pockets and all those wonderful buzzwords, cadence and people that never know what that means but say. But if you think technically speaking as an MC, he was impeccable. And I still catch things. I didn't realize that on Bring It On. And I realized in the making of this that he has a organized confusion line. On Bring It On, crime organized like the Pharaoh, and I didn't catch that until we started doing the series. Like, how did I? There's things in that album that you're just gonna. He says it in his tone is such a way that you'll miss a lot of things. So if you go back and listen to it, you'll catch a lot more gems.
That's amazing, yeah. And I look forward. You guys have this isn't really letting the cat out of the bag because you announced it at the end. We've got another one coming. You guys are giving the Blueprint the same treatment, the same investigative deep dive. And I, for one, am really excited about that because, people's favorite Jay albums may, deviate or fluctuate a little bit, but those two are definitely in the top. Those are always at the top. So, it got such a great reception and was received so well that I feel like it's just going to be even greater for this one with the Blueprint.
That's the plan.
Well, thank you for saying that too. That means a lot coming from you, so I appreciate that.
All right, we're going to move on to question number 2. In 2008, Dizzy Rascal signed with this record label to release his album Maths in English in America. Was it Stone's Throw, XL, Rhymesayers, or Definitive Jux?
Yeah, we know this.
We know this. It's D.
Def Jux.
Yeah, Def Jux.
I got it from here, yay, damn. Hurrah, here comes. Where's the G's? Where's the stars? Where's the whips? Where's the cars? Where's the cribs?
Definitive Jux, LP's very own. This was like sort of a big deal, I remember at that time. And I think for a lot of America, definitely a huge like introduction to an artist that maybe they weren't super up on. I'm curious to know, and this is, I'm going to fully embrace ignorant American perspective here. If you listen to your guys' podcasts and you listen to all the guests, you guys are interviewing a lot, predominantly American artists. It's an art form that obviously found its roots in America, but I'm always curious for fans and heads like yourself, what were the was it a sort of linear track of getting into American hip hop and UK hip hop, or what how do you sort of delineate there? I'm sort of hinting at a question here. I'm not quite articulate enough to.
I think I know what you mean.
What's the path of a listener and a real, you guys are hip hop heads in the UK?
It's strange because like I say it's strange. It's not really strange because it happened. At the age in which we kind of grew up in our formative years and started to understand much more about hip hop and what it means, UK hip hop wasn't at its height like it was in the late 80s, right? So in the late 80s, you had Hijack, you had Cookie Crew, they were charting, right? They had, affiliations to Ice-T, etc., etc. Public Enemy would travel here. It was a big thing. And then in the mid 90s, where, I mean, for me anyway, as growing up, because, I'm in my mid 30s, all close to getting to the 40. But anyway, right? But the point is that UK hip hop, it almost had not a lull, but it was just a little bit quiet. And our access to music and how we consume media, we fell into hip hop. The TV channels that we had, the video channels we had, whether it was MTV Base, whether it was The Box, all of those things really promoted, and we had a lot of US hip hop. Flavor, for example, there was a thing on Flavor on Channel 4. It used to come on Sunday nights. We'd have to put a VCR tape record it, and watch it for breakfast the next day. A lot of that didn't have a lot of UK. They had some of it, but a lot of it was very US based. So we for me, I kind of dabbled into US, and I had older brothers, which helped, right? So I understood who the Dog Pound were, who NWA were, from it being played in the house, and then kind of went on my journey on, okay, there's Black Twang here, and there's London Posse, and going back and really understanding, doing the research.
So for you guys, for the uninitiated, who would you recommend? Who are like the must quintessential UK hop artists that you would like say are good starting points for listeners? Maybe predominantly a lot of our audience and family here, their vocabulary is mainly American hip hop. So what are some good touch points from your guys' perspective?
I think if you take it through the timeline, I think to start with, definitely look at Caveman, Derek B, London Posse, Demon Boys. I feel these are like foundational acts in the UK scene, and then you can definitely branch off and find other people. I think moving forward, Sumit mentioned the Cookie Crew. They're really important to the fabric of what we do over here. The more obvious names, Jest, that's Jehst. My mind's going blank. Ty, rest in peace, Ty. Every time. Black Twang, Kalashnikov, Terra Firma, like
Kaiser, that whole crew.
He's a friend of mine, but I think Kaiser, KYZA, is one of the best MCs to ever breathe on British soil. 100%. So definitely check out Terra Firma, your Michael Parkinsons, and even more recent names. When I say recent, they've been out for a while, but I feel like their star is rising. So you've got the Fly Hooligan, who went by Iron Braids formerly, Juggernaut. These are amazing people, females, Paris One. There's so much talent. And anyone who's in the chat or watching, if you want more insight onto UK hip hop, man, just hit us up, man. There's a wealth of music out there for you to enjoy. And I know there's this thing about the accent. But America created hip hop. We just, we built the house, we just decorated it, added a couple of extra wings,
Well, we actually, Sally Haskell, I'm bringing her comment in. She says she loves the sound of rapping with the British accent. So I think for some people that's a bonus. That's nothing that you have to,
I feel like the world is opening up. Like more than ever with streaming, the internet, the world is a lot closer, and regional sounds aren't necessarily a thing anymore.
Right.
So it's now is the time where we're talking about diversity and inclusion and all these kind of themes, and I feel like in a positive way that's really impacted how we consume music, because we are more open than ever to different sounds and different perspectives and different voices. Even here in the UK, we've got really, really vibrant scenes in Manchester and Nottingham and Bristol. Yeah. And there's different voices. The accents might be different, but their stories are different. But it's still UK. And I think it's a really exciting time. Just the diversity of voices, in music, it's the most diverse it's ever been, and I love it.
It's a really important point to make, because a lot of people always think about the UK and think London and be London centric. In the same way, sometimes people from here always think about LA and New York. But right. If you think about Scotland, if you think about Rob Kelly in Ireland, like these are people, Scorsese in Nottingham, these are people who've been in the game for a long time, got the respect of their peers both here and stateside, and also in more Central Europe. So if we think about people like Snow Goons and all that, and there's different pockets, right? So right. there's something bubbling, and it always has been there. And I also think, like, to Chris's point about regionality is a really important one, but also like knowing someone from the UK or from Germany. There's something about hip hop heads that they always want something new that no one else has. Oh, you got this new cassette. Oh, I got this new 2-back thing. Oh, it's that. And that's also helping too in some ways because the barriers have now lifted. So you want to hear the new hot producer from the Netherlands or from Birmingham or from Liverpool, for example. And it's just helping. And also coastlines help too. You know, let's not forget coastlines do help. And when you have people like Drake who shot out in the UK, where feel about him, it helps. It's always been the case. Wyclef Jean brought in Destiny's Child. It happens. Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, you know, it's just something that happens in the industry. And so we need that. And all of that is just creating this melting pot of talent from across the world.
Yeah, love it. Well, a lot of gems dropped here. A lot of people in the chat are thanking you for dropping those. So yeah, we should definitely do make like a playlist or something. Or I know we've spoke off air about some ideas and things too to sort of spread some of the gospel. So stay tuned for that, folks. But we're moving on to question number 3. This member of Hieroglyphics is responsible for designing their iconic logo. Is it A+, Casual, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, or Tajay?
Del.
Okay, they say Del.
Hurrah, here come Del to dispel the
Del is correct. Now there was a bit of laughter there when you guys saw the question. Where did that stem from?
It's really very much that for one, Chris. Well, firstly, Chris didn't mention himself in the previous conversation, which he should, right? So that's another thing. As an MC being from the UK, he should mention himself. Yeah. Anyway, secondly, Chris is probably more so than me a massive Hyro fan.
Yeah,
absolutely more than me, 100%. Right. So when we saw that, I was just like, okay, cool. I'm scared. You know? I'm scared here, Sean. This is a question. This is a big deal. We can't get things wrong out here. We've been sweating and, you know, like it's hard out here. Perspiration is a big thing right now for us. And so when we saw that, we had to make sure, okay, thank God. It's more relief, if I would say. It's more relief.
It was just
anything. I was gonna say Soldier Boy, but then I would get my head cut off, so I didn't want to do that.
Right? No, that would not have worked. I wouldn't have accepted that answer because it literally wasn't listed as an option. So yeah. Also, a little inside baseball. We had Del the Funky Homo Sapien on the questions a few weeks ago, and I have to thank you guys for helping to connect with that. You guys were it wouldn't have happened without you. So major shout and plug to our friends at Breaking Atoms. So Chris, as the huge Hyro head, here, what is your favorite Hyro album? Or, it doesn't have to be the group, but just, any of the artists involved.
Okay, so I think obviously 93 Till Infinity. I got to shout out my friend Sean Etienne. When my hip hop journey started, he played me 93 Till Infinity, the album, Ready to Die, Lab Cabin California, and the infamous In One Session.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It was a rap. Like
it was rap.
And literally. Rap. Yeah, I was done. So I'm like, I love Hyro because I see myself in them. As much as I love Havoc and Prodigy. Yeah, I know Havocs and Prodigies, but I'm not them. But I'm Del, I'm Casual, I'm A+. So my favorite is definitely 93 Till Infinity, but I'm going to throw a sleeper in here. I'm going to throw 2. I'm going to go with No Need for Alarm. Oof. And I'm going to throw in Ascension by Pep Love.
Never gets mentioned as much as it should. Pep Love is a beast, too.
Pep Love, yeah? Pep Lava. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. A few people are pointing out, and I'll just say for those of you watching this now or watching this later, check out our episode with Del from a few weeks ago. It's on our YouTube. We talk about the logo. He talks about his background as, in design and how it's something that he still is very much interested in. But yeah, arguably one of the best logos in hip hop, I would say. I'm bringing it back up here. It's just so iconic. And I was talking to him about it when he was on the show. It's the type of thing that's so simple and so magnetizing that it just begs to be tattooed on people. And people have tattooed themselves with the Hyro logo. So it works. Case in point. Yeah.
It's a great logo.
All right. We're moving on to the final question in our first round. Which of these rappers was not featured on 1994 Big Daddy Kane Posse cut Show and Prove? Was it Sauce Money, Jaz-O, Old Dirty Bastard, or Shaheem?
Was not.
Yeah, who was not featured?
Oh, yeah. Got it.
This was a track that Jay-Z featured on pretty early as well.
Yeah.
It's B.
Yeah.
Jaz-O. B? Jaz-O? Let's see if they're right, folks. Jazzo is correct. Had to dig deep. I know you're in your Jay-Z bag right now, so I wanted to give you the opportunities to flex. You know.
Do you know what? I tell you what, I almost got tricked by that because I was looking, I was going, but everyone's on there, and I was like, oh, B. Yeah, sorry.
It's a journey. It's
Show Proof's a great track. I love Jay's verse on that. Love Jay's verse on that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jazzo as well. We spoke to him. Lovely guy. He gave us like 2 hours of his time. Awesome.
That's incredible. So, I know that you guys did these deep interviews, and the end result was 5 episodes. Was there a lot on the cutting room floor? And like, has there been any thought of like, do we release this as the director's cut? Do we, package this with the Breaking Adam's breakfast cereal that will like come in and it'll have like the bonus disc in there? Like, what happens to all these gems? Because I know you got more than 5 episodes worth of stories.
100%. There is probably, I would go as far as say it's probably another good 3 episodes worth, if I'm honest. And when I mean 3 episodes worth, 3 episodes worth of just real gems of nuggets of information that we just had to take out because it was like, it's editorial choice. Yeah. This needs to leave. We need to put this in. But absolutely, we'd be remiss if we didn't find a way to do a director's cut, a deluxe edition, and find ways to package it too. Chris is very inventive in that sense because he's an MC too. So there's always different ways in which we'll package it up, and we're just thinking about ways we can do that. Right now, we're letting that breathe, let the dust settle, let people enjoy it, and 100% there will be definitely more things on the way from that series. Honestly, I don't think there will be another. For us, that's our reasonable doubt, if that makes sense. I don't think there'll be another one like that. So what you expect going forward, don't expect reasonable doubt. Expect high standard, but you're not going to get reasonable doubt 5-part series. You're not going to get Brooklyn's Finest again. It's just one of one. And I think we are really blessed from everyone we spoke to. We got some real good gems that just had to stay on the cutting room floor. Just had to do it.
It happens. No, I know exactly what it's like. And there's just stuff that's so great, and sometimes it's even special because you're like, man, like it's so great that I have this. It's almost like kind of special that like maybe people aren't going to get to hear it, but of course the other part of that is that like, I want to find a way to share it or spread it. So
what I would say, I think what I'll say as well, you can expect some of the people who are in the series to come back to Breaking Atoms for episodes as well. So they're coming. We've done a couple. They're coming. So they'll flesh out their story a bit more.
One of whom was, I know you didn't necessarily interview him, but one of the options here, you guys have Shaheem on the show this week.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, those things, it's just it was just timing, and I think Sumit reached out to, because Sumit does all the booking, so I got to give him props for that. He reached out to Shaheem a while back, because we'd like to plan in advance, and Shaheem said, yeah, I'd love to be down, and it was just the timing.
Yeah.
And then, our next episode coming out, okay, we've got Pain in the Ass coming next week. Okay. And he was talking about Shaheem, even though he didn't know we had spoken to Shaheem like the day before.
Right.
So it's just it's divine intervention, and I just think it's hard work and momentum really kind of culminating to something great now, and it's fun to be a part of it.
Shaheem's got to be what, 23 now?
16, baby, 16.
He looks more or less the same. Shout out to Shaheem.
I was just going to say on Pain, now we've let the cat out of the bag, which is good. There is a version, or was a version that he probably has, or Jay has, where he was doing an intro, like a skit for Diamonds Are Forever. It wasn't used, but he did something for that.
Damn, son.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Gems. Guys, again, continue watching this episode as you watch here at home. But as soon as you're done, if you're not doing so already, subscribe and follow all things Breaking Atoms, Break the Atoms. We'll get into all the handles at the end. But again, we heavily co-sign and endorse what these gentlemen are doing. And now we are moving to our second round. Picasso, baby. Still in that J bag. You love to see it. All right, so in this round, I'm going to show you a small piece of an album cover. You have to identify what the album is by the tiny cropped image that you see. So we tested your general knowledge. Now this is our version of the eye exam at the doctor, but less annoying letters. I always feel like a real asshole doing those, right? Like, even though and I also don't. Maybe it's because I'm not a doctor. I just don't understand. Like, how much is this going to count against me if I see a Y, but I think it's a T? You know?
Will they judge you?
Yeah, or are they judging me? What's the grading curve? I don't know. Like, are they waiting for me to get things wrong, or are they waiting for me to just say I give up?
These are the questions. Something won't understand. You know, with glasses.
I mean, my eyesight's waning a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, don't try to be down if you're not down, bro.
Yeah,
you either got the hardware or you don't.
Right, fine. I'm not down with OPP. I'm sorry. You don't know me. I'm sorry.
It's OPG, other people's glasses, actually.
Yes, sorry.
It's fine. But we digress and we move on. I'm sorry I snapped at you. It's just I'm still bugging out over this whole eye exam thing. Shout out to Delph, eye exam. Okay, here we go. What album cover is this? Is it Diamond D, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop, Mad Skills from Where, KRS-One self-titled, or Junior Mafia Conspiracy?
Go ahead.
I have it.
He's wearing it not on his sleeve, but on his chest. Oh.
Wardrobe change.
Mad Skills from Where, the debut album. Shout out to Mad Skills, the first guest on our live stream version of the questions, what feels like 38 years ago, but it was actually March of 2020, and a former guest of your show as well.
Yeah, could I take a moment to talk about Skills for a second, if that's okay with you?
Take more than a moment.
He is one of the nicest people I've ever come across in music, in life, period. We had him on the show and he was an absolute gentleman. And from that, he just held us down. And it's really crazy to have someone who we look up to, who's musically bought, who we've known for 25 years through his music, but then has someone who can help us and is very supportive of the podcast. And, you know, he helped us get Clark Kent. There's no, he was like, yo, Clark's my OG, I'll get you him. And he got it like that. And he genuinely, it's very hard to find good people like that. And when we do, we always want to give them their props as much as possible. Skills is an incredible individual. He will always have our support no matter what. Mad props to Pop, the Skills, honestly.
Yeah.
Totally. And we echo the sentiments here at the questions as well. He was very supportive early on in our evolution before even the pandemic and the live stream show. And that's why we were able to get him to be the first guest. And we've had, you know, it's been an ongoing discussion, but I will say that in the near future, we will be doing some more collaborations with Skills. So yeah, great guy. This, if there's somebody who's going to later edit this, and it would probably be me, this is the Mad Skills appreciation clip that we will share to social media, and it'll be a beautiful moment, you know, giving those flowers. We're going to move on to question number 6. What album is this? Is it Eric B. and Rakim's Paid in Full, Mobb Deep, Blood Money, Cash Money Millionaires, Baller Blockin', or is it Ghostface Killah, The Big Doe Rehab?
Ghostface.
Guys, you're such confidence. There's such, even with the costume change too. It's just like the
I mean, I got a rep. So if I'm repping Skills, I got a rep. Ain't no jigger. It just has to be the case.
It happens.
I'm skinned up, nice and scuffed, still bugging earlier around 4 highs.
Ghostface Killah with that we're talking about flexes. This whole album cover is a flex. It's just
Quintessential Ghostface, isn't it?
It is.
Are those dollars? Are they like on the wall, or is that like are we to assume that they are bricks of $100 bills?
I would assume they were bricks. They were stacked up. I would assume.
So it's
or maybe the Def Jam art budget ran out and they just didn't finish it.
You think that like there was actually supposed to be a more elaborate background, and they just were like, "Oh, we're running out of time."
Well, this came out December that year. They're like, "No, we got to get this out for Christmas."
Yeah, those fourth quarter releases.
Yeah. That was Ghost's job at Def Jam for a lot of the time, right? Gets that fourth quarter, just churn something out. It was a massive thing every year at Def Jam. Was all right. If there's not a J album, if there was a J album, let's get a Ghostface album out. We need this, and he was holding that label down for many few years.
Is he still on Def Jam? No, he's not.
I don't think so. I might be wrong.
He's not. He's indie now.
Yeah.
He's got his own thing. He's got his own thing now.
He's got his own thing. All right. We are moving on to question number 7. What album cover is this? Is it DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Home Base, Moni Love, In a Word or Two, Slick Rick, The Ruler's Back, or is it Heavy D and the Boys, None But Love?
Slick Rick, the ruler's
I
back.
think it's a rule. I can see the R.
Okay. They're saying Slick Rick. Let's see if they're right, folks. It is Slick Rick, though. Honestly, the R that you saw, I don't know what that R is. It might be a Rick, but that's that yellow R on the side there. But it was the opposite of a red herring. It was a clue. You guys crushed it. That was like effortless. A lot of people have trouble with the Picasso baby round.
Well, I mean, look, let's just say that it's a fluke. Let's just say we're riding the crest of the wave, and let's see how the other rounds pop out. Once we finish, then we can breathe.
Yeah.
Fair point. Well, we breezed through the second round. We're going to move on to the third. And the third round is called Digging in the Crates. This is our sample round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a question, play you a sample, and you have to answer the question about the sample that you hear. Tested your knowledge, your eyes. Now we're on to your ears. Here we go. He Raju, He Daddy was sampled on a song by this artist. I will play you the sample in question.
I know.
What is it?
Auditorium, Most Def.
Most Dev is correct. Just gotta wait for the beat to drop.
This song is perfect. It's a perfect song.
Peace. Pow.
I'm going to say something controversial. I want to know how you feel about this. I think that the Ecstatic album is criminally underrated, and there are days of the week and times you might catch me in where I sometimes prefer it to Black on Both Sides. Am I going to hell?
That's fine. You're
fine.
not going to hell. You're also speaking to. I hear you, but you're also speaking to some. Black on Both Sides is like bury me with my copy. Like for a long time, that was my favorite hip hop album ever. Like ever. But no, the Ecstatic is if it's not his best album, it's definitely a close second. I think it's an incredible album. And yeah, I think it was the album he should have put out second. But you live and you learn. It's a great album, but good producers, great lyrics. Yeah, love it. I love the Ecstatic. And I bought 2 copies.
2 copies. So you need those now because it's not really on streaming. So people are always lamenting, and I understand that like for access to people who weren't around or just convenience, it helps to have things on streaming. But I'm never tripping. Like I want De La Soul to get their money, but I haven't stopped listening to De La Soul at any point. I've got the hard copies and the MP3s.
Absolutely. I think as well, like I don't have children, but Sumit's just had a daughter, and I think that whole collection thing I think we need to really cherish that again. I remember being young, going to my friend's house, and their dads would just take me through their record collection, and there was such a sense of pride to say, look, this is this pressing, this is this, and it's a bonding thing, and it's about leaving something for our children, and to say, hey, this music might be gone. You might not be able to get it on Spotify, but you have it here. And I think it engenders a stronger connection with the music. You can open up the liner notes, you can read the stuff, you can touch it, you can feel it. It's like an all-around audio-visual experience with hard copies.
100% agree. 100%. All right, guys. So far, 8 for 8. We're moving into the final steps of our third round. Question number 9. Vicki Anderson's In the Land of Milk and Honey was sampled on a song notable for the first released appearance by this MC. So I will play you the Vicki Anderson, and you tell me which MC was featured on the song that sampled this.
I want to be in the land of milk and honey. All the flowers.
All right, Chris, it seems like you had a moment of recognition.
Let's confer. So
I think again.
Yeah, play it one more time.
Play it one more time. Sorry.
I want to be in the land of milk and honey. All the flowers.
It's the first appearance.
Sumit, I think it's live at the barbecue.
I was thinking. I'm thinking from the question. It must be because Method Man. It would have been Wu-Tang. Common it doesn't sound like a common site, and definitely not BIG. So I'm gonna go with
main source.
I don't really know, but I would say deductible reasoning. I would say C2.
Okay, so I enjoy the reasoning. And it's fun when we have two guests on because we're able to see this process that is sometimes an internal monologue. So let's see if they're right, folks. They were right. Nas, live from the barbecue. Are there other artists? I'm not saying this isn't to lead you to Nas, but are there other artists who you guys are considering or would like to do a categorical deep dive into as you have done with Jay-Z? Like what? The answer must be yes, but I guess how do you even determine like what makes a good candidate for that?
It's not I think one, there will be a lot more. There'll be a lot more. And it won't just be on Hove. I think the blueprint will be done with Jay. We're done with Jay after that.
Yeah.
I think, and Chris, you can chime in at any point. What makes it a good candidate is about what we can give value to the listeners, what we can gain from it too, in terms of what we can learn from it, and what would make really good audio, right? What would make a really good project? What would make a really good album? Because we approach it like an album. So it's very much around that, and it's not always about A-listers. It could be anybody, anyone that has a story that we can build through and have come cut through. Because the key thing is about making people feel interested when they may not know so much about that person.
Right.
And so our job as contributors to the culture, as connoisseurs of the culture, is to really to harness that and put that through. So you don't want to just be Jay or Nas or Biggie, because that's easy. We could do that. We could do that in different ways. We could do the curriculum of hip hop, which we're doing. But really, it's about where the story lies and the interesting story that we can pull through different threads and for the listeners.
Absolutely. And I mean, I look forward to hearing that because, yeah, it's like that. You're absolutely right. Like the artists like a Jay or a Nas, those are obviously going to connect. But there's also other artists who, might not necessarily have that same sort of coverage, that same sort of discussion around that. You guys can create that discussion around them too, or really be like forerunners in telling those stories. So yeah, I cannot wait. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the blueprint, and I'm looking forward to whatever you guys have cooking up next, because I know you guys have things cooking up. So we're moving on to the final question in our third round. This group sampled Zapp's Heartbreaker on their debut album. So I'm going to play you the Zapp sample. You tell me who sampled them. That is the sample in question. Was it EPMD, Slum Village, 213, or Alcoholics?
Okay, let's confirm, bro.
For some reason, I'm thinking. Go on.
I don't think it's Slum Village.
No.
I don't think it's 213, because that 213 came out. This could be a trick, bro.
No, this is what I was thinking, right? So I'm thinking West Coast, right?
Yeah.
West Coast Zapp is the samples are there, but also EPMD could have very much used that on the debut album, and then Alcoholics. Alcoholics and 213 are just very much so similar in that. So
yeah, I'm leaning towards Alcoholics.
Yeah. I was either thinking 213 Alcoholics. EPMD is a good shout.
Yeah, but knowing Sean, EPMD is obvious. Yeah, he might be trying to trip us up now.
Yeah. Because he's one of those people, isn't it? He's a tricker.
What you know about that?
All right, should we? All right, look, we're doing so well, right? We've got 9 out of 9. I think we can. Oh, should we do the chat? Should we go with the chat? Ask the audience.
Oh, that's interactive strategy.
You're down for that. Someone said here it's "Do You" by S Villa, but I'm gonna say it can't be because that wasn't on their debut album. That's Detroit.
That's the thing. The thing is, it's the debut. It's the debut bit.
Right. So Sally Haskell says it feels like EPMD, but I'm not sure. That's Sally over on YouTube. Also on YouTube, Trot Lamont says. Well, Ricky P says Slum Village.
Shout out to Ricky P.
Yeah, definitely.
Lamont says sounds like "Do You" by S. Villa. Optics says play it back again. I will play it again. One more time. So it seems like a mixed bag here. It's like I don't know.
Okay.
So
I think it's. I also think about sample clearances, right? Alcoholics.
Yeah.
Loud Records.
90 what? If that's their debut, that's 93.
3. Let's do Alcoholics. Let's go with it. Sorry, so we get one wrong. We get one wrong.
Okay.
Final answer: Alcoholics. Okay, I'm gonna play you the reveal now. The album came out in the late 90s.
Gee. All right.
And the song was featured on the debut album by.
Now, if you see this nigga, get this nigga respect. That's if you don't suck my dick.
Slum Village.
We should listen to the
Fantastic Volume 1 did a flip of the Zap Heartbreaker. Guys, I had to pull out some tough ones too. You guys were demolishing it, but ultimately the great thing about the show, and what I stress to everybody, is that like if you get something wrong, that's just a new piece of hip hop trivia that now you get to impart upon someone else in the world. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. But we're not going to dwell on this because now we're here at our final round. The final round is called Time's Up. This is our speed round. So you are going to have 90 seconds to answer 5 non-multiple choice questions in the category of your choosing. Today's categories are hip hop podcasts, keeping it live in 2005 as you are episode 105. These are questions about 2005. And finally, the third category is double up hip hop duos. So you guys pick your category, and that will be the challenge that you face today.
Go on,
okay.
Pick anyone you want. Let's do it.
Don't put it on me, bro.
No, I'm good. I'm good with either. I could do it. We could do either. It's fun. This is fun. I'm having fun.
Should we do hip hop duos?
Yeah, I think duos is it's me and you, right?
Yeah.
So I think we should do it.
You guys are the modern day.
I mean, come on, man.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Are you the modern day EPMD? Are you the modern day Outkast? Are you the modern day, Run and DMC? What's your?
We are the modern day Soulja Boy and Bow Wow. That's exactly who we are.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna say that, but okay.
I wouldn't say that either, but you did, and that's fine. So okay, you're going for hip hop duos. I'm pulling that up right now. But while I pull this up, let me just go over the rules here one more time for you. You're going to have 90 seconds to answer these 5 questions. If you don't know the answer, then you say pass and we'll come back to it. However, if you answer incorrectly, that question is burnt and you're done. You can't use it. So speak wisely. And since there's 2 of you, I'll allow you to confer with each other and then, sort of be like, okay, this is our final answer. The chat is there if you need their help, but this goes pretty fast. So I wouldn't get too caught up on them. I have OC's Time's Up here. It's time to 90 seconds. So when we stop hearing the iconic instrumental, your time will be up. Breaking Atoms, are you ready for the final round?
Let's roll.
They're going double up hip hop duos. 90 seconds on the clock. Chat, help them out. Here we go. Which member of Organized Confusion was the first to release a solo album?
Pharoah Monch.
Pharoah Monch is correct. Who has the first verse on Outkast's Aquemini album?
It's the return of the gangster. Andre 3000?
Andre 3000 is correct. I need you guys to confirm with each other too. I don't want controversy.
Sorry.
This producer produced the most songs on Black Star's debut album.
You want to talk, bro?
Go for it. Madly?
High Tech.
High Tech.
High Tech is correct. Okay. In 1999, this hip-hop duo released a Rock Wilder produced single that clocked in at just over 2 minutes long.
Go on, bro.
Ready, man?
Yep, correct. All right. Name 3 rappers who've appeared as guests on any of the 4 Run the Jewels albums.
Ooh, okay. Let's confirm, bro.
DJ Premier, right? Should we say Premier's on the new latest one? He did the scratches, right? He's
featured.
Right, so Premier. Yeah.
Greg Nice.
Greg
is
Nice.
featured.
Yes.
Gangster Boo.
Gangster Boo. There we
Gangsta
go.
Boo is correct. Throw one more in because you have time.
Oh, Zach De La Rocha.
Zach De La Rocha is correct,
Wow.
guys. 5 out of 5 on the final round. It takes 2 to make a thing go right, and this thing obviously went right. I'm going to total up your score here, but I want you to know that no matter what, you guys are champions in our eyes. I always got to cut that off.
Yeah, sorry,
Because
yeah.
if we play that too long, they flag us. Real champion behavior. Gentlemen, Breaking Atoms, you guys scored a grand total of 14 out of 15. Not too shabby. Let me tell you who you are in the 14 club with. These are former guests who have scored a score equal to yours. We've got Lord Jazz from Lords of the Underground, DJ
Big up.
Babu from Dilated Peoples and the Beat Junkies, Fonte Coleman from Little Brother Foreign Exchange, Merce, Trackstar the DJ from Run the Jewels, Slim Kid Trey from The Far Side, Don Will from Tanya Morgan, J.E., legendary producer behind Nelly's Country Grammar album, Joe DeRosa, comedian and hip-hop connoisseur. Great place to be, 14 out of 15. Love to see it. One final question I have for you that I always like to ask guests of the show. Now that you have been on the show, who do you nominate / challenge to come on next? Preferably someone that you know and can vouch for. Don't say Jay-Z. We'd love to get Jay-Z.
Somebody would say Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I mean, should we stick with that theme? Should we stick with the J theme?
I suppose I can't object to that, but maybe add on to it as well.
So there's a few people that I'd like to see on this show. Chris, I'll let you go first if you want. I don't want to take the floor.
No. I think your brain is ticking. Go for it, bro.
So I think there's I think Young Guru.
Yes,
we'll make that happen. Right, we'll make that happen at some point. I think Rob Markman would be excellent on this.
Rob Markman would be great. Yeah.
The genius. He is impeccable. He is brilliant, and I think he'll be really good, and it'd be a lot of fun.
I think you know who could be a very interesting guest here as well? Dart Adams.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah,
we have had Dart Adams. Dart Adams.
Yes, you did. Yes,
in maybe the 20s he was in.
Do you know who would be a really good mic dropper? Kathy Iandoli.
That's right.
We have also had Kathy. Kathy is amazing.
Oh.
Yes. So great minds think alike. Yes, great. I like that you guys started with like the artists and the engineers, and then you went to the journalists, because shout out to the journalists. They, we have to look out for each other as well. So those are great recommendations, and I want to thank you guys so much for appearing on the show. This was a lot of fun. It was cool to be the host. I feel like I've come over to your house for dinner a bunch of times. Now, I wanted to show you how I do things a little bit.
We've had fun, man. Thank you. Just thank you, man. Just not even for today. Just good conversation on and off the mic, and you're one of us, man. It's dope. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the feeling is mutual. So again, as I emphatically stressed to the audience before, and I want to thank the audience and everybody for watching on the various platforms that you're on here. Follow Breaking Atoms. I don't know why I said that kind of Christopher Walken-esque. Like, follow Breaking Atoms.
Adams.
There's such a conversation about. Oh no, sorry, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've been asked to not do that anymore. Follow Breaking Atoms. Their podcast is impeccable. Every week they're back. They're breaking it down to the very last molecule with interviews with some of the great practitioners and connoisseurs of hip hop. Follow them. You guys are Break the Atoms on Twitter, and
Instagram, Facebook, everywhere.
Got it.
It's the same. Break the Atoms.
Break the Atoms, Breaking Atoms, and if you haven't already done so, go back and look at and listen to their Reasonable Doubt, Brooklyn's Finest miniseries. Do you guys have anything else you want to sort of shout or tease to the audience at home?
No, just much love to everyone in the chat, everyone watching. Appreciate you, and you really providing us a platform. And I've said this to you off air, and it's probably good to say it publicly. You're a genius, man. Yeah, you're an absolute genius for you and Steve to put this together. Genius, just really genius. And I think that this is a wonderful thing to have in our culture. We're so honored to be on questions. Like, it's fun, man. This is fun. Yeah. And I'm really proud of you, all the things you've achieved and all things you do. And yeah, it's really good that we've connected in the way we have, and we will always have your back, straight up.
100
is 100% mutual. So yeah, It's great. I got to cut this off. We're just going to do, as has always been the case, whenever we do one of these interviews or conversations, we just gush over each other for an hour afterwards. And it's like, that's fun for us, but maybe, it might get a little tiresome for people watching.
I mean, in terms of, breaking atoms, Blueprint series is coming, and it's shaping up to be a goodie. And then there'll be more, and there'll be more, and there'll be more, and we're not stopping. And that's just how we roll. That train is left. Jump on it. You can do whatever you want, but this train isn't stopping. And really, we are thankful to everyone who shown us their support prior, and we just want to keep contributing to the culture. So much love to everyone.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you again so much. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. Again, make sure that you follow, support, listen to, and enjoy all of the great stuff that the Breaking Atoms fellas are behind. And we will be back next week at our normal time. Stay tuned. And thank you again so much. And be well. Peace.
Peace.